Hello, hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie, and today I have got stacks upon stacks of books that I need to add to my fall TBR. Okay, yes, even though I honestly cannot believe it, the spooky season is upon us again. And I'm wearing my Literally Dead book club sweatshirt, even though it is 100 degrees outside. It's time, you know, it is time. I did break out my singular pumpkin pillow a bit earlier than I would have liked to, specifically for this occasion. Not gonna lie, I was really wanting to at least make it through Labor Day before I go full fall mode. Because I was hanging on to summer. I really was. But here on booktube, fall is the season. It's the prime time for reading. It has all the best books, all the best genres. So it's time. We gotta do a fall TBR. And I do feel like I just did this video because I did my summer TBR board pretty late. Like, I think I uploaded it the first week of July, so that feels like I just did this video. But that's okay, you know, that's how it goes. So I have my summer TBR board here, and I'm gonna briefly go over if I was successful or not. All right, breaking out the red marker here. So Summer Reads 2023, what did I manage to do? Hell of a Book by Jason Mott. Yes, I read it. It was okay. In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. Yes, I read it and had a pretty good time with it. I think I gave it like a 3.5 stars. It's not exactly dark academia, but it does take place on a college campus, and it was very nostalgic. So if you're looking for something to read at the start of the school year. One Italian Summer by Rebecca Serrell. Yes, I read it, and I did post my review of it in my summer European vacation video. A Perfect Vintage by Chelsea Fagan. Yes, I read it, and it's also in that summer vacation vlog video. Wayward by Amelia Hart. Yes, I read it, and it will be featured in an upcoming video. Inkblood Sister Scribe. No, did not get to that one, but you will hear why in just a second. A Gentleman in Moscow. No, did not get to that one. I think I'll have to move it to winter. On Earth as It Is on Television. No, did not read that. Don't know when I will. Alone with You in the Ether of Olivia Blake. No, did not read that. Don't know when I will. Fates and Furies and Bone Clocks. The two books that have literally been on my TBR since last February. Didn't read either of them, but one of them I will have plans to slot into this fall TBR. So as it happens, every single time I make a TBR board, the first half, really strong. Second half, rarely ever get through it. And then I did add several more books that I read. So this is not everything that I read in the summer. This is just what I thought I might get to and put it on the list. But as we know, the TBRs change so quickly. And with that being said, as I'm making this TBR, this fall TBR, guaranteed to change. I definitely have a thing where, like, I like to make a TBR list. I like to plan things out, but I will change my mind on a whim. I'll change my mind on a whim. I'll pick something up just because it looks good. It's calling to me right then and there. I will find a book at the library. I'll take a random trip to a bookstore and just decide that I have to get something and read it right then and there. So it's hard to really ever know what I'm gonna get to, but I do have several books that are specifically for videos, so I'll have to get them. Oh my goodness, sorry I have this like red mark on my nose. I got really sunburned last weekend, and that is what's remaining of that. Like I said, it's 100 degrees and sunny here. Not exactly the fall weather, but we'll make it work. Okay, there we go. I have my fall reads board ready to go. I tried to make little leaves, but they just look like stars. oh well, whatever. So what I'm gonna do first is go through the books that I own and that I know, like, I have to get them on this board because I have plans for them for specific videos, or just because I own them and I'd like to read them. So I'll go through those first, and then I will go through the books that I don't own, but I know that I will read. And then I will go through the leftovers that I would like to get to, but you know, just trying to slot them in where I can. Okay, the first book on my list is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. This is a book that I am reading for an upcoming video, and I hope to have it done very, very soon so that I can get that out to you guys right at the beginning of the season. This is a magical, witchy book. It features two estranged sisters who their family has this magic that uses books, actually. The books have magic, and they allow you, like, if you read the book, you gain a certain magical ability, and the sisters are in charge of protecting that magic. But after their father dies, dealing with some magic that they've never seen before, the sisters who have been separated have to come together to try to defeat the evil magic. This has been described, I mean, as every book is always described as kind of practical magic vibes. I think that they say that because this does feature sisters, although I don't anticipate that this is actually going to be like practical magic. I think this is going to be more magical, actually, which would be really nice. It looks really cute, although I have to say I have not heard anybody talking about this. And this was a book of the month pick for, I believe, like maybe July or something, maybe August, I don't remember. Oh my gosh, I just thought that this was actually the June pick for book of the month. And I remember a lot of people being excited to get this in their book of the month box. And I specifically saved this to read around this time of year, but the fact that no one's talked about it is a little bit concerning to me. But regardless, I'm definitely going to be reading it. Next up, a book I will absolutely be reading this season, that is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. Not exactly a fall-themed book, I know, but this is a book club pick for my book club that I'm doing, that I do with my friends every month, and this is what they chose, so very exciting. It's pretty far outside my usual genre. I hardly ever read romance, but this one was exciting to me because it is, the main character is a TV writer, and the love interest is a pop star. So I'm very interested because I love anything to do with television. I love anything to do with like fame and that the kind of behind the scenes look at fame. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out here. And also I've heard that it's gotten really good reviews. So I'm excited to kind of do something outside of a genre that I would normally read and to discuss this with my book club. Next up, continuing on the book club thing, I am reading Monstrelio by Gerardo Samana Cordova for the Literally Dead book club. This is September's book club pick, so I will be reading this very soon, and I'm so excited. This is a literary horror, one of my favorite genres ever. Absolutely adore it. And this is about a mother whose young son dies, and she tries to bring him back to life through black magic of some sort, and he ends up coming back as a demon. So it's exploring her grief and dealing with this occult situation. And I am just so excited. This sounds absolutely incredible, and I'm so happy to be reading it with the Literally Dead book club. Next up, I'm continuing on my Dark Academia journey, and I really hope that I can have a Dark Academia part 2 up this year. It just depends on if I can finish out these last couple Dark Academia books I'm trying to read. The first being The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Ooh, I have put this off for long enough. I feel like I have read enough Dark Academia now that it's time to go to the original, and I fully anticipate this being a 5-star read. I hope this is going to be my best book of the year. I am so excited to read it, and I do anticipate that I will start it in September. Okay, there we go. Well, that is 4 books right there, so I think that I'm gonna have to call this September. Typically, I'll also read an audiobook, but I never know what audiobooks I'm going to read because they're whatever comes through at my library, whatever becomes available. So I'm sure I'll read something else in September, but these are the 4 physical books that I am reading that I know I have to read in September, and I don't think I'll be able to get to more than that, so that is what I'm calling my September TBR. Okay, moving on to my October TBR, and I did just realize that I forgot to mention, of course, I am reading the 4 Walking Dead compendiums, so I have compendium 3. My plan was to read 1 per quarter. I was just a bit late. I have read the first 2, and September is the last month in quarter 3. So I should read this in September, and I will certainly try. I will try to at least start it in September. I don't think I'll be able to finish it unless I really whip through these other books, which is definitely possible. But Walking Dead Compendium 3 is on the docket. It's just like forever there. My intention is to get through these 4 books by the end of the year, and I'm on track to do it. I do have some spooky reads on the docket for October, of course. The first one that I know I will get to because it's very likely going to be a book club pick, and even if it's not, I'm definitely going to try to read it in October. That is The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. This is about I believe a woman in a small town in Mexico. It's definitely a Latin American country, but I think it's Mexico, and her home is being haunted. And I have heard nothing but absolutely incredible things about this book and about this author. And I do have her new one, Vampires of El Norte. I do have that one on my shelf. So it's kind of a toss-up as to which one I'm gonna get to first, but for now, I'll put The Hacienda on my board. And then a book that I am trying to prioritize because I do have plans to fit this into a video concept, that is The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay. This is a sort of, I want to say, like, I don't want to say mixed media exactly, but this is about 2 high school friends, and one of them believes that the other is some sort of dark creature. So it is going to be a little bit silly, but what's really cool about this book is that it's a memoir. It's fiction, but it's written like a memoir, but the person that is being written about has kind of like made these little notes in the margins. So I think it's just a really fun structure. I don't think I've seen anything exactly like this before, and I'm really interested to read another Paul Tremblay. I read The Cabin at the End of the World last October, and I made a video with my thoughts on it. I did not love it, so that is just a little hint at what the video concept is going to be. And then 2 books that I would love to read in October to celebrate the Halloween season. That is World War Z by Max Brooks. I've had this on my TBR for a long time. I know it has like really good reviews. People really like it. And I thought it would be a really fun thing to do as I'm reading The Walking Dead, just to see the comparisons. I'm really excited to get to this, and I do anticipate it being pretty highly rated for me, so I'm trying to prioritize it. And then I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. I bought this while I was in England because this takes place in Cornwall, which is a place that I visited, and I bought it at a bookstore there, and it has these beautiful sprayed edges, and like it's just gorgeous. It's pretty far outside of a genre that I would read. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but it takes place, it's Halloween themed. I think it's gonna be a quick read, and so I'm definitely gonna give it a try. Woo, okay, my board is starting to fill up because that's already 4 books for October. And there's certainly more things that I would really like to read. Moving on to November now. Okay, I have a couple of things that I know for sure I'm going to be reading in November. One of them is Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. This is the November Literally Dead book club pick. At least I assume so, because we all voted and that one was winning by an absolute landslide. So I think that is definitely going to be the Literally Dead book club pick. So I'm putting it on my TBR, and I put a hold on it from the library immediately so that I can read it in time. I also have plans to read The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. This is also something I'm going to be reading for a video concept in November, and a friend really wants me to read it. I'm very, very nervous about it. I don't think I'm gonna like it. Silent Patient, I, to be honest, don't even know much about it other than like people are always like, oh, it's one of the best thrillers. I'm nervous. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but I will give it a try. So those are on the board. And then the rest of these I am just kind of hoping. I don't know if they're gonna make it on the board or not, but just spitballing some ideas here, okay? A couple new releases I'm really interested in reading and I have put on hold at my library, so I don't know when they're gonna come in. But one is Rouge by Mona Awad. This is from the author of Bunny, and this one seems really, really fun. It is a kind of, she explains as a dark fairy tale about a mother and a daughter who visit this salon in the South, and it's like haunted by a demon or something. I think when it's Mona Awad, like, it does not really matter what the plot is, but this is some sort of critique on the modern beauty industry with a dark fairy tale twist. So listen, she writes a book, I press hold, I go get it, you know? Like, I don't really know too much more about this, but it is a September release and I'm really hoping to get my hands on it early. Then we have The September House by, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't remember who it's by right now, but September House. And this is about, it's a haunted house story, and I know that the walls bleed or drip blood, so that's fun. I really don't know much about this other than it is a haunted house, and to be honest, I am on a little bit of a journey to find the perfect haunted house story because I have not yet found it. I've read a lot of them and none of them have really like hit exactly what I wanted out of a haunted house story, so I'm hoping to find one this fall. And then I have a couple of books that have been on my shelves for a while that I would really like to get to at some point in the fall. First up is Shark Heart, A Love Story by Emily Habneck. This is a surrealist literary fiction story about a couple who one of the pair, I think it's the husband, I'm not sure, falls ill with a very strange disease in which he turns into a shark. But it is a meditation on the hardships of going through watching someone you love experience something like a horrible illness and probably grief to some extent, probably just thinking about a difficult medical situation and how that affects each person, relationships, things like that. I'm very, very excited to read this and I really want to read it soon. And to be honest, it doesn't look like it'll take a lot of time. Like, it looks thick, but there's like, there's a lot of white space on the pages. So I think that if I just picked it up and started going, I will probably read it very quickly. And this sounds like right up my alley. Although it is, I mean, with it being a surrealist take, I'm not sure how I will do with that element. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't, and it's just dependent on how it's executed, but I am very excited to read this. Then we have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. This is a book that's been out for a long time and pretty much everyone has read it except for me, and I really, really want to read it. I just have a hard time ever wanting to pick up nonfiction, even though I know this is going to be amazing. So it's been sitting on my shelf for far too long. I've got to read it. I am going to pick it up this fall at some point. I'll try to squeeze it in there. Then we have I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Makkai. This is a semi-dark academia. It's not dark academia in the usual sense, but it does have to do, it takes place on a college campus. It does have to do with a murder, and it is about a woman who returns or goes to this college campus to investigate a murder. She's a true crime podcast host, and I believe that like she somehow gets wrapped up in it in some way. So it is kind of a critique on the true crime scene, as well as a slant on the dark academia genre, which I'm very curious about this, how this all comes together. And I have been wanting to read this for the, better half of this year. So I'm trying to find a place to put it. It's just like a very long book And again, it's not something I've heard people talk about, so I'm kind of just like, what happened? How did it get lost here? And finally, a book that I, to be honest, want to read so bad. I think I'll start it as soon as I'm done reading the books that are for the current video I'm working on. That is Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. Sorry for mispronouncing that, as I surely did. Chain Gang All-Stars. This is the book that is starting to make its rounds. It actually was published earlier this year, and it kind of flew under the radar because Book of the Month didn't pick it up like I think a lot of people expected them to. But it's kind of making its rounds now, so it is starting to get a lot of attention. And I read the short story collection Friday Black by this author, and this is his debut novel. This is about a prison system in which they're kind of doing like a death battle, like for entertainment, and the winner earns their freedom. And it's about these two gladiator women who are fighting in this tournament and also have a deeper connection. So much going on. This author typically writes about social issues, social commentary through satire and kind of absurdist lenses. And I'm so interested to see what he does with this story. I want to read this so bad. Pretty much like as soon as I can, I will get to this. I have several really short books that I would like to read for a 24 or 48 hour readathon. That is The Deep by River Solomon, which is a Afrofuturistic fabled story fairy tale type thing. I think it involves mermaids. It's very short. Then I have The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I don't know too much about this other than it's a woman who goes a little bit crazy. Don't know. It's really short, so I definitely would love to get to it. And then finally, The Cement Garden by Ian McEwan. Ian McEwan is one of my favorite authors, and I have 2 books by him that I own that I would really love to read. I don't know if I'll get to both of them this year, but this one is super short. So it would be great to do for a 24-hour readathon. And then in November, I am hoping to do a video in which I read another book from each of my favorite authors. I think I'm going to do 4 authors, and one of them, I just mentioned Ian McEwan, but he is included in this, and I have The Children Act that I would like to read for that one. I have, of course, it's always on this TBR, The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell. I'm hoping to add to that November TBR. And then I can read either Clara and the Sun or When We Were Orphans by Kishu Ishiguro. I absolutely love Ishiguro's writing, although I've only read Never Let Me Go by him, so I'm hoping to find a new favorite in one of these 2. I don't know which it's gonna be. It's gonna be a toss-up, but it will be one of those 2. And I'd love to get around to reading another book by my perhaps most favorite author, that's Emily St. John Mandel. I hope to read Last Night in Montreal by her. I, again, don't know too much about this story other than it's an Emily St. John Mandel novel, and that's honestly all I need to know about it. And finally, the last author that I would love to get to for that November video, Miss Sally Rooney. I have just one more book to read by her, and that's Normal People, the most famous one, and yet I've never read it. So that is what my plan is to do for November. And considering that's 4 authors, that's like the whole month right there. Whew. And there we go. That is a lot of books. Oh my gosh. I think that like there's not gonna there's no way I'm gonna be able to get to more than what I've just listed right here. And you know, it's really tough because I have more books that I want to read this season than I've had such good new releases come out, and just I don't know how I can possibly get to all of them. Like, they're all so exciting, and I'm so desperate to read all of these, but like, how am I gonna make it happen? How am I gonna make it happen? Anyway, those are my tentative plans for September, October, and November. At least what I mentioned here are like my really solid plans. Inevitably, I'm gonna pick up a random book that I either just found out about or maybe, you know, who knows why I decided to pick it up. But I think that what we have here is a good start. There you go. That is everything on my fall TBR for 2023. Oh my gosh, if I accomplish this, I think I will feel like genuinely a rock star, like a reading rock star. Like I'm gonna be so curious as to how much I actually get through this season, because as opposed to the summer TBR where I was like, oh yeah, I might get to some of these, you know, this one I'm like, I need to get to all of these. So who knows what's gonna happen? Stay tuned. But let me know down in the comments below, have you read any of these? Are these on your TBR? What is on your TBR for fall? I would love to hear. I love to know what people are reading. So let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already to be back to hear my thoughts on all of these books. Like, let's talk about it. I'm so excited. And otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, year, spooky season, all of it. I am so thankful that you are here, and I will see you next time. Bye!